We're on a road to nowhere. Come on inside. Taking that ride to nowhere. We'll take that ride. I'm feeling okay this morning. And you know, we're on the road to paradise. Here we go, here we go. There's a city in my mind. Come along and take that ride, and it's alright, baby, it's alright. And it's very far away, but it's growing day by day, and it's alright, baby, it's alright. Would you like to come along, and you can help me sing this song, and it's alright, baby, it's alright. There's a city in my mind. Come along and take that ride, and it's alright, baby, it's alright. And it's very far away, but it's growing day by day. It's alright, baby, it's alright. They could tell you what to do, but they'll make a fool of you, and it's alright, baby, it's alright.
Well, hello everyone. I see some people. We've got the vacant succubus. I can't. Jenna, Whoopty, I can make out. Logan. Who else? I can't really. Desiree. Hello. Who else we got? Jeffrey Ginter makes an appearance. Dum dum dum. So, of course, you guys, I cannot read the comments, of course. So, my special guest, co-organizer, co-activist from M for M for All, Mr. Ricky Rants, who also was in the meeting today. We will be discussing it, and he can help address any, comments or questions. Feel free to interrupt me. Also, I'm not sure if it's our Logan, but there's a Logan in the chat, so I do want to give a shout out to Logan, who also helped arrange the meeting and was also in the meeting today, but he's a little more camera shy. So, but thank you, Logan. We love you. So first, okay, so first things first. Yes, we recorded it, but okay, so here's the caveat. They recorded us. They didn't ask if they could record us. They just did.
Yep.
And they didn't tell us not to. So, those are, they never said don't record. I've never recorded with any of the other reps we've met with. I just, I figured, well, it's on Zoom. They hit record. I'll hit record. And to be honest, it was kind of, I don't want to say a casual conversation, but it kind of was. It's not like anything like secretive was discussed. It shouldn't be a problem to him or his staff. That it was just activists talking about why we want him to sign on to Medicare for All, and it's something his constituents deserve to know. I mean, that's, his answers are his answers. Ricky, what was your takeaway? Do you feel it was beneficial? What did you take from it?
He doesn't seem as entrenched as some of the other people we've met with. He doesn't seem like a deep DNC guy. He does have a history of working in the government. He's had many government jobs. So I think maybe he is, sort of pragmatic in a certain way. But also, he doesn't seem to have any answers either. Like, I understand that he is taking his time and wants to make the right decision, but like, there's such an urgency right now. Like, I can't really subscribe to like, well, well, maybe I'm looking into other things. It's like, yeah, people are dying. Like, no one cares. Like, either jump on this or figure out something else and rock and roll. But yeah,
And
I
I
don't know.
think you and I made some we pulled some good punches during this. I think we asked questions that if I wasn't there, I wish other people would have asked. Um, I think we did hold his feet to the fire. I think we held him accountable. We asked him questions that probably many people never have. And when you are an activist and an organizer, you need to make reps feel uncomfortable. That is your duty. That is what you are supposed to be doing. If you invite them to participate with things, and you have a march and you want them to speak there and things like that's no, they need to be uncomfortable. They need to know if they show up, that's on their terms, and they may well very have people come up to them and say, you're not helping me, blah blah blah. This is what this is about. And we do get pushback. Why would you meet with these people? Well, here's why. Because what it comes down to is, yeah, guess what? It feels real good to go on Twitter and be like, F you, you don't care about us. Do you think they read those messages? Fuck no. They don't read those. What do they do with them? Nothing. It just feels good for you to get it out. What we do is we actually sit down with these people and say the things others wish they had the opportunity to say. And we've been doing this for a couple months, and we've already met with a number of representatives, introduced legislation. We have had like a lot of success with these meetings. And at the very least, we know it's not a one-pronged approach. Like, there are different layers of activism, and this, we've shown that you can actually push the envelope just being a couple volunteers, from across the country who just want to help. It's worth it to get out of your comfort zone and say, look. And I do want to give it up to Rep Kim for talking to us. He was very much, yes, let's make this happen. Like, we went back and forth, like our schedules didn't align, and he really was like, him and his LA legislative assistant were very adamant on scheduling with us. And we're not constituents. Logan is, we're not. And that's when we reached out to meet with reps, we continually heard, you're not constituents. So we do appreciate that, and we do appreciate the candid conversation. Ricky, do you want to say anything else before we start playing the recordings?
No. We can jump right
All
into
right.
it.
So, all right. So it may be a little hard to hear, but what is I tried playing it on my computer and Ricky was unable to hear it, so I'm going to play it on my phone. But it sounds quite clear except for the first like 10 seconds where I'm like shuffling my phone. So bear with me, and then we can stop every so often and kind of go over, what we experienced. So here it is.
Looked at a lot of different countries that have universal care, and not all of them use single payer, and I'm intrigued to sort of see, are there other options out there to get there? So like that's kind of the kind of, I think, the challenge, the question that I've been trying to answer. And some other folks that I've talked to, they say like for them it's like it has to be single payer. And I'm not sure I'm there in terms of saying that's the only way. So I kind of want to just kind of get your perspective. We haven't had a chance to talk about it yet. So kind of want to get your thoughts on just, how firm are you all in making that, that it has to be a single payer system, it has to be universal payer?
I mean, ideally, a lot of us would want a national health service, just like UK. But we support national improved Medicare for all, and that is really the only route. The state by state has tons of flaws. Obamacare is still too expensive for millions. Any other route is incrementalist. And with 100,000 people dying per year, with no health care, and millions of people uninsured and millions of people uninsured, it's just no time to say, now is not the time, let's just do a little more. And I myself am disabled. I'm mostly blind. And that just happened to me 2 years ago. So I've seen how my life has changed. I've been a Medicare for All activist for years. But after becoming disabled, like for instance, this is from 2.5 years. These are all medical bills, over $15,000 since I became blind. I have insurance. So, with someone like myself, I lost my job because I started going blind, things like that. You have to wait 2 years to get Social Security before it's approved. To me, it gets to the point where you're like, I don't even care if I get out of bed in the morning, because that's all. I have panic attacks just going to the mailbox, because even though I have insurance, it's just constant medical bills. And I'm one of millions. So to me, anything less is somebody essentially telling me and others that we are not worth thriving. We are not worth, the fight for free healthcare, just like every other nation. I personally, I take it to heart. We as a group have talked to hundreds of people who are in dire situation, who have lost loved ones, who are in medical debt, who file medical bankruptcy, and just, become suicidal, they're not thriving, they're not living, they're existing. And so many of us are in that situation. And to me, I find it I take it very personally when someone does not support something that will change millions of lives. And I do know your state is very supportive of Medicare for all, very supportive as a whole, as is our entire country. So I think when reps are elected and they have constituents and they say they will support the will of the people, it is our job to then hold them accountable to that. Logan and Ricky, do you guys have anything else?
Yeah, I agree with that, absolutely. And as far as single payer goes, it really focuses on the payment mechanism. A lot of people get caught up in the brand name of Medicare for all, but really what it boils down to is simplifying our system. We have the most complex and the most expensive healthcare system in the entire world, and it's a job done because there's so many different middlemen and so many different administrative black holes where all this money kind of just disappears. And that's what's been happening for years and years and years. Now it's not sustainable anymore. We've seen it in the last couple of years. Life expectancy is going down like crazy in America, like crazy, like off the charts crazy.
Yeah.
And you're seeing medical debt skyrocketing. We're talking about, was it 1 in every 4 families has medical debt now? It's something insane. It's like the number is staggering, right? The payment mechanism is easy, single payer. You pass this bill, and then the federal dollars come directly to the source. It's not about privatizing. It's not about the government coming over and taking over healthcare. Although we always have to have our safeguards, right? It's not, this country's not gonna like if the government comes in and takes over hospitals. So private practice systems still remain private. Private hospitals still remain private, and the money goes directly to covering the cost of healthcare. It's so simple. And all those administrative hurdles that everyone has to go through, that disabled people have to go through, even though they're disabled, they can't even figure it out because they're blind, or they need help to do all these things anyways. It's ridiculous that our people that can't even do things are expected to do things to survive. It's a slap in the face to everyone. And single payer just simplifies everything. And in a country that's not going to overall, I don't think a socialized healthcare system is going to sit well with a lot of Americans. I do think single payer, once explained to Americans how to pay it against most, I think a lot of people will be on board. Even though the polls already show we're looking at 60-some% for support of the single payer system, I think if you really explain how it works to people, because a lot of people are like, oh no, it's the government's going to come in and take over everything. Once you explain that that's not what's happening, I think this is the happy medium where Americans actually exist. And it would help so many people, especially our most sick and our most disabled. So, there are a million different ways healthcare can look. A million different ways, probably more. But I think single payer, at the very least, has to be the next step because it is a huge step. You have to restructure the way it looks completely. So, if there is a better system past that, great. But it is a huge leap. This is an incremental leap, even though it might not be perfect. It is a huge leap, and we can't afford it. Right now it's not sustainable. What we're doing right now, trying to fix Obamacare. Obamacare was a handout to health insurance companies. I don't care what you say, it was.
Yep.
We can't put a band-aid on that. The ship is sinking, right? So I think single payer is that happy medium where we all kind of exist and we can all more or less benefit. Well, at least the poor people. Rich people will be okay; they can afford their healthcare. But yeah, that's what I would say.
So, before we continue, I do see a conversation going on here. Anyone that mentions Jimmy Dore, I just don't take seriously. I mean, we're literally meeting with an elected representative, and you are asking me how I feel about Jimmy Dore. Are you serious right now? Are
No.
you serious though?
No, it's not a serious. Right? It's not a serious person at all. It's just a troll.
Not a serious person. So marching one by one. What do you march for? To interrupt disabled people fighting for healthcare, who are fighting for people like you too? Is that what you do? You feel good about that? Because maybe you should, just not. Maybe you should just fucking leave. And you have this Jimmy Dore derangement syndrome thing. It does not fucking matter what I think about him. He's not part of this. Force the vote was 2 years ago. Get over it. Get over it, dude. Get over it.
We're glad Jimmy Dore lives rent-free in your head, though. That's amazing. Good.
Yeah,
Good for Jimmy.
You people make him trend every day. Why do you think he's so fucking popular?
Right.
Pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. So,
Jeff Ginter made a good point. And also Cheryl Van Epps and Robert Escobar are also in the chat. So hello, everyone. Jeff said he continues to confuse monetarily sovereign countries with non-monetarily sovereign nations. He's deliberately ignorant on this because he's allowed to be. I kind of do believe that, though. He plays I don't know, we're looking for other options, and it's so non-committal.
And he does that more. And sorry about that, guys. I just, it's so fucking frustrating. It's dude, you know what? I don't have to like Jimmy Dore. I don't fucking care. But you know what? I'll tell you one thing. When he found out we were doing a fundraiser for our marches in July, he said, when and where? That's what I know. Go ask some of these fucking YouTubers who say they support Medicare for all, who never share activist posts, never have activists on their show. Go ask them. So yeah, I have my issues with him, but guess what? He has always had our back. And that matters to me because guess what? He deserves Medicare for all too. Guess what? So do his fans. So whether you disagree with them or not is moot. When we say everyone, we literally mean everyone, even you. So now we'll continue, just in case anyone else wants to like pop off about something totally irrelevant. So here is Rep Kim's response to that. Oh, sorry, that's Logan.
Has shown that, Medicare for all single payer type system, specifically a single payer system, is the most beneficial and would work to kind of fix, this broken system that we have now. But, you see in all those studies, it has one common thing, that it specifically is highlighting a single payer system. Yeah, but look, I'm with you on a lot in terms of just the injustices that are out there and the need to make some big changes on this front. I think some of my concerns, though, is just, when you have the idea of a single payer system in such a dysfunctional government structure that we have right now, I worry about some of the implementation. For instance, right now with our Medicare, we have struggled so hard to just get reasonable things in there, like allowing Medicare to negotiate drug prices, and it takes full force of changing the law in order for us to be able to shape a government-run and operated payer system. And just like the amount of challenges that my office is trying to deal with when it comes to veterans, VA, and military folks who TRICARE, I'm having trouble kind of imagining our government kind of doing this across the entire country with no other alternative options available to should they feel like this is not working for them. I have a lot of veterans that feel very trapped within the VA, and like I said, with Medicare, I worry about the resilience. If you look at what Secretary Azar was doing to our healthcare, he was the Health and Human Services Secretary. He's literally just trying to find every and all opportunity to sabotage our healthcare in this country. And I don't know, I just don't feel comfortable kind of giving the future HHS secretary like himself, kind of all the keys to the castle. If our country didn't have this level of just polarization about issues of health, we have a lot of the other countries that are that same. Some of the ones we so I'm kind of intrigued by some of that, just all papers. Kind of get us where we want. We have the price controls. We have the universal information. Where we have simplicity in terms of pricing.
Kind of hard to hear it.
Leave some different variables in terms of how many operators
Is that better?
in that operation. So hopefully that gives you a little bit better sense of where I'm coming from. It's just my office deals every day with so many problems from people involved in different government operated payer systems. So I don't feel really confident that we can pull it off the way that it looks like on paper. And I think that's been some of the struggle that I've been trying to do. Does that at least make some sense to you?
No, I think it's a total cop-out, to be quite honest. I think, one of the things is the term Medicare for all is quite misleading because it wouldn't be Medicare. It would be enhanced and improved, meaning no payments, no copays, no deductibles, things like that. Whereas right now we have a president who is trying to privatize Medicare and put everyone on Medicare Advantage, which will kill countless seniors. And to state that other countries don't have this kind of pushback is incorrect, because I've spoken with numerous people in UK who state that there are fights to appeal the NHS non-stop, just continually. And I guess my main question is, is deep down, if we're going to be transparent, is, your main concern that if you sign on, you will not be able to further take any money from big pharma or insurance companies or anything like that? Is that a concern?
That's not the concern. I don't take any corporate PAC money. I don't get any support, from those industries in that way. So that's not an issue of concern. And I think I would feel more comfortable if supporting Medicare for all doesn't mean that we're closing the doors to other options to get to the universal care. So like this kind of approach that it has to be Medicare for all or in the form that it's written in, or nothing. I think that's what kind of concerns me about signing on. Because I see it as an option. I mean, I lived in the UK. My wife is from Canada. I've seen the benefits of having a system that's closer to that. But I also see, the benefits of systems like in Switzerland or elsewhere that achieve universal coverage, but not through a single payer mechanism. And I don't necessarily feel comfortable closing the door on these other avenues to be able to get to universal care that have provided that high quality without the challenges of the affordability that we're having here. So I think, when it's presented to me as this, it's got to be this Medicare for all, exactly how it is written, word for word, or nothing. That's a hard place for me to kind of operate, because I've seen other countries solve the problems that they have in terms of getting universality and affordability without going that route. And I don't know why we would close the door to some of these types of options. That's kind of where my head is at right now.
So, first off, affordability is a very subjective term. Very subjective. Because right now, as a disabled person, I can't afford even the insurance I'm paying now when it practically pays nothing. So, is Medicare for all the all-end, no. We would absolutely be, open to things further than that. And I've even heard Bernie Sanders and Pramila say that as well. This is not the ultimate in any way. This is just we need this now, and we can go on further in the future. But these are the bills that are sitting there currently. And we do have several concerns with the Medicare for all bills. This is not, in no way are we saying it's perfect. However, if you do sign on, that then gives you the chance to discuss the issues you have with that bill. Whereas right now, you don't really have a voice because you haven't signed on. We have over 150 co-sponsors. It literally is do or die. And if you sign on and make your concerns known, then that only gives you the leverage to get in there, meet with Bernie, meet with Pramila, discuss, I support this, but I think we should remove, whatever. Because right now you don't have that leverage.
Okay, well, look, I appreciate that perspective. I think for me, perhaps I see it a little bit more, but I feel like I have a little bit more leverage. I talked to them before I signed on. Once I signed on, maybe I'll lose some of that, but I'll take on board your suggestion on that front in terms of that. I'll think it through whether or not I feel like I'd have more leverage before or after signing on. But thank you for your thoughts on that front.
I do also, just to be quite honest, you are very even in the polls. And to be reelected, do you think that you can be reelected with your lack of support for this?
One thing I'll just say is I really try not to think about what legislation I sign on to in terms of whether or not that's going to help me electorally.
I'm a politician who doesn't think about legislation
I'm really trying to look at this in terms of
when I'm trying to get votes. What?
the most implementable
What?
universal healthcare
Really?
options we have out there, and what's going to be sort of best on that front. So I really don't. I've never actually wanted to do this job. I never actually dreamt of running for office. So I try not to think about this in terms of self-preservation. But when I think through the implementation of this, I mean, look, I've worked in four different departments and agencies in the federal government. I've seen a lot of challenges of
Time out.
ability to be able to operate.
Can we pause that?
Large types.
What's that?
If he never wanted to be a congressperson, who asked him to do it? That's what I want to know then.
All Congress people say that. All of them.
Yeah.
All of them. Rose said it. Rashida said it. Pramila's legislative assistant said it about her. They all say it.
It's a bunch of bullshit.
Well, why are y'all in there if you never wanted to do it?
I don't buy it because he's been in government for how many years? If you didn't want to be a congressperson, you would have retired from the government before you even ran for office. Get out of here. Like, stop. You're a career government worker.
About the election? Huh? It's next month.
It's probably rigged. It's probably rigged. DNC probably already bought it out.
In the polls, buddy.
Like what? Like what? What's happened? Like he's not worried about it. He doesn't think about legislation when he's running for re-election. I'm so confused by him.
Like I straight up told you would win if you signed on to our bill, and you're like, if he loses, I'm gonna be like, yo.
Should we just make him lose? Do we have that power?
Should have listened to us. So let's continue listening to what Rep Kim has to say. And I gotta say, it's really hard doing this when they're nice like that. It's really hard.
He's good at playing nice. I know.
He's like a nice dude. But at the end of the day, you got to put that aside and realize, don't think about them as this nice person who's willing to listen to you. You have to think about it as this is a representative who literally holds people's lives in their hands. It's very easy to want to be nice, and when people are nice and personable and stuff, and it's kind of like it's politicians. That's what they do. They kind of, it's subconscious. They don't even realize they're doing it. They get you to like them and talk to them. And it's very difficult to just keep your questioning the exact way you want it. Keep it going. Because you can be there and say, as soon as I get in there, I'm going to say this. And then they're nice. And they say, thank you so much for meeting with us and this and that. And you start to go, no, wait. No, don't do it. Right. So at the end, I get thank you so much for meeting with us. And I do mean it. But up until then, you got to just reel it back and remember why you're there.
Back to Kim.
And I see that struggle constantly when it comes to seniors on Medicare and other issues like that. So for me, a lot of it is about sort of an implementation type challenge. I think on paper, you're saying it makes a lot of sense. As I said, I certainly want to be as forward-leaning as we can in terms of thinking big on this. But I also just want to be able to think through this in a way that has some options, has some different ways in which we can get to that universal coverage, especially when we see some of the other countries doing it in different ways. So that's kind of the approach I think. But really, it's not something I want to think about in terms of my electoral possibilities.
So do you think it? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ricky.
Go ahead, Ricky.
I just think none of us are going to. I
dysfunctional. I think we all agree with you on that point.
Yeah.
But like the issue is that dysfunction is currently really penalizing our disabled people. The ones that are actually feeling that. It's not Congress. Congress has, you got your $170-something thousand salary plus gold-plated health insurance. It's not you guys feeling it. It's the people at the bottom feeling that dysfunction right now. Single payer, day one. You don't have any bills when you walk out of the hospital, man. That just changes lives immediately. That changes the sickest and the most disabled people's lives immediately. Will there be problems with billing? Will there be problems with making sure this doctor gets what he wants or this hospital gets what they? Of course that problem is going to exist probably forever. Unfortunately, probably forever. That is healthcare. That sucks, but that's what healthcare is. But you immediately help people who need the most support system like this. Yes, go talk to Pramila. Please set up a meeting with Congresswoman Joy Ricky. She's down to talk about it. She loves to talk about it.
Yeah, we've met.
Yeah, like that's something she would talk to you about. If you want change, we want changes in the bill. Heck, we would love for you to go and say, hey, this is not good enough. We also believe it's not good enough. So it's not like we disagree with you on any of these points. But you're talking about another system. What other system has support from the American people? What other system has a bill? Who's pushing that? Where's the momentum? Medicare for all, I hate to say it, it's the only thing that would actually change millions of people's lives tangibly, like immediately, that has any support whatsoever that I know of. And if you know something else, let me know. I don't know about it.
And mainly people of color, Black and brown people, number one people affected by healthcare issues, veterans, TRICARE. I worked in healthcare for over a decade before my blindness. TRICARE is a mess. I mean, it's just awful. And so you take people of color, veterans, disabled people, elderly people. These are the people it's going to benefit most. And I think from what I'm gathering, it sounds like you would rather not sign on and make people feel better that maybe someone else additional is fighting for them. You would rather not do that because you think there may be something better in the future that is not even being talked about. So I guess I'm not understanding.
Yeah, no, look, fair enough. But let's look, though, to go back to what you're saying. I mean, I agree with you that TRICARE is a mess. And again, it shakes my confidence in terms of seeing the government be able to operate some of this type of stuff at scale. So I'm trying to figure out, what is sort of an example where, what is sort of a proof point that government is up to the test. That we put all of our eggs in this one basket, that it's going to work well. And I just don't feel the confidence in that, and I worry that again, in theory, it sounds like it's going to work, but in the actual application, it could be potentially a disaster in terms of how it is implemented and the capacity for our government to do this at scale. When again, when I see TRICARE being a mess, I see VA being hugely problematic for so many. Medicare, just even trying to get negotiations of drug prices. It takes decades to be able to fix that. There's no nimbleness to this process to be able to operate it. When I see again all payer systems out there, I'm not saying that I know for a fact that those are going to be better given the challenges we face in the U.S. But I'm trying to have us have that conversation to be able to talk through that. And I take your point that there isn't a bill yet that would present things in that way, and we're talking to people about whether or not that's something that needs to happen. We're trying to kind of raise that level of conversation about all the alternatives to get to universal care. So I just what I'll tell you is that I'm not closing doors here. I'm earnestly trying to talk through this, think through this. I really hope that, you can think what you want, but I really hope you don't think about this in terms of electoral prospects or campaign donations, I really try to show that that's not what's driving me. I'm a son of a polio survivor. I'm father to 2 kids that have pre-existing conditions. Like I want to move big, but I don't know. I think I've always sort of had this feeling that, like, we can look at different options that are out there. It's not just in my mind because I got to be Medicare for all in a single payer form versus the status quo. I hate the ACA. I think it is deeply broken, and I do think that, to Ricky's point, they throw handouts and cash grabs by the pharmaceutical industry. I don't want employer-based healthcare. I don't want for-profit healthcare.
He made that admission.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that by the derivative process of checking those things out that we end up only at the idea of a single-payer system. So look, I take your comments to heart. I take your criticisms to heart, and I'll take that on board, and we'll keep this conversation going. And like I said, I very much understand where you're coming from on this, and I'm sorry about all the personal experiences that you've had when it comes to the brokenness of healthcare in this country.
Okay, so I'm going to pause it right there. He kind of acted like he wanted to end the conversation, but we just kept it going anyway. So it's not over. So I think, Ricky, tell me how you feel. But to me, it feels worse to me when you're talking to like candidates or elected officials, and they're like, look, I have loved ones who have medical issues. Then this shouldn't be a problem. Why, like, if you never knew someone with medical bills, I'd understand more.
Yeah.
But the fact that you're telling me, well, my mother has polio and both my children have pre-existing conditions. Why are you not automatically like, boom, give me the pen, I'm signed on?
Right. And he also in the same breath, he admitted that the ACA is trash. It's a big handout to insurance companies because I mentioned it, and then he repeated that back to me to say, yes, you're right. Well, yes, I am right. Then what's your stance? You're gonna go to Zimbabwe and see what kind of healthcare they have and see if you can bring it back to America. Like, no, you're not. Like, shut the fuck up.
Because he keeps saying over and over, I don't want to limit us. Dude, there are no other bills. Medicare for all is a household talking term right now.
Yeah, by the time he figures,
I want to take corporate profits out of it. Well, what else? What other option is going to do that? None. National Improved Medicare for all, dude.
Right. That's it. He literally said he wants this without saying he wants this. That's actually a bunch of bullshit.
That's what's so frustrating because he gives us hope. I'm not opposed to it, but I mean, not that I have hope, but you know what I mean. It's like that dangling carrot. Like, I might sign on one day, but
he's an Obama Democrat. That's exactly what he is.
It's so like, I'd rather him just say, fuck you guys, no, like, no, that's it. I want nothing to do with you. Yeah. But the whole like, that's what hurts right there. That, well, maybe.
I mean, by the time he figures out what he wants, he's not even going to be in office anymore. Like, that's like the whole point of this, I think, is to just be like, well, and pussyfoot until there's the next guy in office.
And I mean, if he loses next month, that's his legacy. His legacy is meeting with activists and telling them, no, I won't sign on to Medicare for all. That's your legacy. And that's on him. I mean,
pretty shitty legacy, to be honest.
I wouldn't want it to be mine, but here we'll continue this. I was going to say interview, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, but I want you to know that doesn't put me as necessarily at the other side of the table here. So let's keep this conversation going, and be able to have kind of talk this through. I'll promise you, I won't talk to Camille again. I've had a couple sit downs specifically and solely about this, and we're going to continue that. Kind of talking through and raising personal my issues. In the meantime, I'm trying to take actions to at least be able to address some of these problems in the existing government operated healthcare systems to try to make them run better, to give more confidence that they can work and that government can do this kind of stuff. And I'm not doing that for the sake of incrementalism. I'm doing that because I'm trying to show that the government can solve these problems. I've worked, as I said, as a career public servant for departments, agencies. I believe in government. I just worry about the ability for us to operate and get past some of the dysfunction that we see in making this facility. So those are a few of my thoughts here. But like I said, doors open. We're going to keep talking. I'll be talking to Noah, and we'll make sure we keep this conversation going. Okay.
Thank you for meeting with us, and you don't have to elaborate. I did just a yes or no. I know you have concerns. I know you haven't signed on. But if the vote were today, would you yay or nay?
No, I'm not prepared for that vote. I'll vote yes at this time.
Okay. Well, thank you for meeting with us. I am quite disappointed, to be quite honest. I thought you were going to kind of hear us out more. And I appreciate you talking to us. Don't get me wrong. I just think to me there should be no there's no fault in just signing on. Things will only change to help people feel like they are being supported more. That it is only a benefit to signing on. So I thank you so much for meeting with us.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. And I mean, look, if there's anything else you want to tell me, I'm here to hear you out. I don't want you to leave with the impression that I'm not listening. We can have disagreements, and we certainly have. We have some disagreements right now, but it doesn't again mean that I'm not listening. So if there's anything less you want to tell me, I'm happy to stay a little longer.
Ricky, do you have anything else?
No, I think so. I think it's the same. I mean, if you find a different system, you need to come fast. I'm telling you, this country's falling apart for that. People are feeling it right now. There's no time. I really don't think there's time. It's going to be a disaster.
I guess I also want to share that we've met with other reps. We met with Rashida, and Congressman Ro Khanna had us out to DC. We met with him about an hour, and the three of us. And by the time we left, he had agreed to reach out to Bernie Sanders to do legislation for medical debt cancellation. So it was an incredible meeting. Is that something that you would also sign on to?
I'd be very supportive of medical debt cancellation.
Completely different tone here.
I know each other very well. I'll try to get some details about that legislation. I mean, I'll have to take a look at it first before signing on. But that kind of effort, yes, I'm very for leaning on that. I know you may think of this as incremental, but I'm also in favor of automatic enrollments immediately into Medicaid and getting everybody who is struggling right now at least into some type of system, to get some type of care. And I know it's not the best, but at least it gets them somewhere. And so I do think that there are some steps there that are in some ways more immediately achievable, or at least in my mind, ones that I can see us actually kind of get into some of those. As you said, breaking the Medicare for all as it stands now, that would be a massive sea change. big change when it comes to our healthcare, no doubt. But again, we're also seeing just the realities of the challenges that we're facing. Again, in recent, like the negotiating for drug prices that we just passed for Medicare, it's extremely weak compared to what we wanted. We couldn't even get that fuller level of reform.
There is no negotiating once Medicare for all comes into play.
I mean, it's the government and private entities negotiating how much money's going where, but that take that burden off of the patients, huh?
As well, just not put all of our chips in one basket.
What is put all of our chips in one basket?
I don't know. It's like in a congressperson handbook or something. It's like the kids, and don't put all our chips in one basket. But we're gonna do it for the kids. The kids. They always say the same shit.
I'm not doing that to be incremental. I'm just trying to every day figure out some way to at least move things in a better direction. So again, happy to talk through other efforts. I will reach out to Rokan. I promise you that. I'll text him today and set a time for me to talk to him about medical debt cancellation and other things that are out there. And if there are other issues and elements of that, please flag it for me. I'd be happy to.
Thank you so much. That's amazing. So far, we have Ro, Pramila, Rashida, and then Bernie is helping with it. So adding you would be excellent. The more support we have for that, the better. Awesome. Yeah, I guess my last request is just please meet with your constituents who support Medicare for all, and just hear them out, especially like personal problems, personal testimonials, things like that.
Thank you. Thanks for reaching out.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Take care.
Okay. So look, if he signs on to our legislation for medical debt cancellation that we're doing with Ro and Bernie, that meeting was worth it. It was worth it. Yeah. I thought once we started talking to him and he was like very nice and understanding, I had more hope we could sway him to sign him on. That it was very frustrating because it's got to be more. There's something more than there might be something better to come. That doesn't make sense to me. There's got to be something else. Did you support Obamacare? Yes. Did you not support it because there might be something better in the future? No. So why Medicare for all? Why, like,
he's controlled, man. That's what I'm thinking. Because he's not like the celebrity congressperson that, like, a lot of these people are. Like Rashida and Rokana are much more visible than he is. Most people don't even know who Andy Kim is. You ask your average person, they have no clue unless they're his, in his district. People don't know who he is. But I feel like because he has a history in politics that he was almost asked to run for Congress or placed or something. And he's like one of those low key Congress people who was just put there to like block shit. That's almost what I feel when I see him. It's like you don't think he's like one of these like deep insider types, but maybe, like I said earlier, maybe he's not so entrenched. But the fact of the matter is he is entrenched. It's just not public. He's just kind of low key. And there's a bunch of them all over. This is why you can't vote your way out of this shit. Like there's tons of them.
It's frustrating meeting with these reps because every single one of them has said how corrupt our government is. But you're in it.
They're talking about themselves, though. That's the thing. So,
except for us. But yes, it's very. I mean, Rashida to me was just. She was like, a bunch of us are going to retire. We're sick of it. We're over it. We joined. we joined Congress because we thought we could make a change, and we know we'd make more of a change as activists. And then, oh, by the way, I'm running again. Like, what?
Yeah, Rashida, that was more eye-opening to me. The performance that Rashida
That
gave
was
us.
something.
Because that was Oscar worthy. Because she was like crying and then not
She
crying,
was
and then she's
crying.
like,
Everything.
we're ready to quit. We're ready to just walk away. And now she's like promoting like Cory Bush's book, and I'm like, what? Wait, what?
And here's the breakdown with Rashida. So I met her when I was volunteering in Iowa for 5 weeks for Bernie's campaign in 2020. And it's when I was starting to go blind. And when I met Rashida, she gave this speech, and oh my God, I had goosebumps. I was sobbing. I loved her so much. And she was always my favorite squad. I just thought she was so real because she was the only one who had been arrested, and and she bashed Hillary Clinton on stage. Like, she just, she's from Palestine. I'm like, yes, that's my girl. So I saw her speak, and she was talking about Medicare for all. We're going to get people health care, this and that. And I went up to her afterwards, and I just lost it. She held my hands. She was bawling right with me. She was embracing me. She was hugging me. She was saying, I can't believe what you're going through. I will fight. I will make it my purpose for you and everyone else. And that got me through the rest of my 5 weeks in Iowa while I'm going freaking blind, nobody, and campaigning, And then I brought it up to her when we met with her. She had no clue who I was. She had no idea. None. So you cried with me. You held my hands. You embraced me. And you promised me that you would do this and help me and all the people like me. I told you I'm literally going blind as we speak, and you don't remember me. And it was 2 years ago. And I even told Ricky and Logan before we went on the stream with her, I said, no, watch, she's really sweet. She's going to be so nice. I mean, she is such a sweet person, but we got to stick to our guns. We got to be hard with her, and we got to say what we need to say. And the second I got on with her, she had this dream catcher, and I love native things. And I said, "Ooh, that's a beautiful dream catcher." And she goes, and I was like, okay, this is not good. I was like, at that point, okay, she's not nice anymore at all.
She wasn't nice. Nope.
Not nice.
Nope.
Not nice.
She's got a little bit of Jimmy Dore derangement syndrome too. I can't believe she even cared about Jimmy Dore. I was like, what are you talking about? She dropped so many
F-bombs. Oh my God. She was like F, which I kind of thought was cool, honestly, because like as a congresswoman being there, I was like, okay, well, at least she's got that going on for her. But
do it on the floor, and then
right, like So yeah, that was disappointing and hurtful in many ways. But I'm glad we did this. I'm glad that we met with another rep. I think, and I want to make it very clear that while we are meeting with these reps and while we have met with these reps, I'm not a Democrat. Hell no. I don't support electoral politics. Hell no. I didn't even fucking vote last time. Like in May. I'm like, fuck it. Like, what's the point? So this is not about electoral politics. If it were about electoral politics, we'd be promoting them and licking their boots like everybody else does. This is solely about accountability. And it also shows that if it's been that easy for us as volunteers to meet with all these Congress people, why aren't other people doing it? Why aren't other people going to these offices? Why aren't they just saying, you know what? I want a meeting with you. Why? because we've scored 4 and we don't even live in these people's areas. So I
yeah,
mean, it's just like we complain about representatives all the time, but doing it on Twitter ain't changing shit. Make some noise, hold them accountable, make them uncomfortable, show up at their office, sit in the hallway.
I mean, one of the big problems is like a lot of these legacy institutions, because there's a lot of them. You know, there's a lot of healthcare groups. A lot of them are old school, and they're really, 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 really worried about their relationships with these people. They don't want to hurt their relationships with these people, instead of using their relationships as leverage, being like, "Oh, okay, we're gonna bring in a bunch of doctors, and we're gonna like shut your shit down." That's what they should be doing. All of these organizations should be demanding things at all times, but they're all like, "No, you're a co-sponsor. Oh my god, let me kiss your butt." That's what they do, and it's like they're just as bad as the politicians. I hate to say it, like these activists are just as bad as the politicians, because they don't get it. Like,
Absolutely.
and I think some of them are like, I don't know, sabotaged or bought out, and then some of them are just following the leads of some of these other groups that act that way. And it's like, that's not a good strategy. It's not working. It won't work. It's stupid.
And as organizers, we've seen it all. We've gotten those emails that say, we really want to sign on to your march, but we need to make sure you won't criticize the squad. And excuse me, number one, who asked you? Number two, no, we don't own police. This is not about politics. This is about humanity. And if you go do your own shit, I don't care. But no, we're not. I'm not pulling that shit. And we're just like, why do these people think they are so self-important that they can email us and be like, well, we want to sign on, but only if, like, we didn't ask you. We don't need groups to sign on. If they're cool groups and they're people who are volunteers and they're people who stand for what we fight for, hell yes. But the thing is, it's way more important to have people than groups and organizations. Way more important. I would rather 100 volunteers than one group with 500 members. It's totally different, because when you take individuals, they are passionate. They have experiences. They are in it for the right reasons. And that's what we always strive for.
That shows you like a lot of these groups are just gatekeepers, right? They divide up the masses and they gatekeep, and then the masses aren't on the same page. If everyone was just like, fuck this, we're done. Like, we're not paying medical bills, screw you, change it now, and we just shut it all down, it'd be a completely different story. They'd have to listen to us. But because of these gatekeeper groups, and that's healthcare groups, that's your DSAs. DSA cannot get on the same page about healthcare anywhere in the country. There are several DSA chapters that have completely abandoned Medicare for all. I don't know what they're pushing. I don't even know why they exist. What's the point of paying $5 a month and not support healthcare? Good for your Rose. Maybe you can get a new logo. Great, sweet. But like, what are these groups even like? They're gatekeeping. That's the issue. I'm gonna say it right there. Like, it's a scam. Like, you're getting scammed. You're joining a group that is holding you back from actually achieving something. And that's the opposite of what it's supposed to be.
That's the thing with our revolution too. I mean, people think that Bernie's still part of it, and he's not. He left in 2015 when he first started running because it's a conflict of interest, and he couldn't. So he doesn't have anything to do with them and hasn't for years. But our Rev literally last year, or less than a year ago, came out and said we are doing a more centrist Biden type platform. And they literally came out and said that, and all these people are still following their asses. For what? For what? Oh my God, I've opted out of their calls so many fucking times, but every Sunday I get a damn automated message. tonight we have speaker blah blah blah, and there are people who don't even support Medicare for all. Like they're freaking Amy Klobuchar and shit. Why do I want to listen to her?
Yeah.
If she's not a blizzard, I don't give a shit about what she has to say.
Yeah, our revolution turned into our incrementalism real quick. There's no revolution. It's so cheesy to call yourself our revolution, and you're like, well, maybe we can expand this to people 60 years of age, and it's like, oh my god, listen to yourself. Don't say mean things about AOC because she's an ally and weak. It's just
nobody's
pathetic.
an ally who is not fighting for us. Nobody's an ally. That's it. I don't care who you are. Right. If you're not fighting for us, you're not supporting grassroots. And when I say grassroots, I mean no super PAC. I mean none of this like underhanded bullshit and this getting your 401c3 taken away because you're shady. I'm not talking about people like that. I'm talking about people who literally are volunteers and give themselves tooth and nail. And unless you see people supporting people like that, they're not your friends. They're not. These reps are not your friends.
But guys, Cori Bush, her book is for sale. Just 2 years in. Cori Bush's book is on sale now, guys. If you want to go get Cori Bush's book, she's 2 years into her career and she's already got a book. Meaning she started that immediately.
Talk about how she literally was in the hospital with COVID and almost died and had no health insurance when she was running? Is it going to talk about how she was homeless and how she's completely abandoned both of these issues? Is it going to talk about that? Because she was a legit activist for years. And she dropped that real quick. Immediately. Even before the squad. As soon as she was in there, done.
Yeah, that was day. Do you remember like day one though when Cori Bush got in there? Like the first piece of legislation she introduced was like something to do with Jan 6 that had just happened. I'm like, wait a second, you just got here. You know nothing about any of this, and you're dropping Jan 6 legislation? Who literally handed that to you as you walked in the door?
Right?
Who handed that to you, and why did you think that was a good idea? Wow, that shows you how like
that's your precedent.
These people are not real.
Yeah, that
they're
was
just not real.
Sad.
From day one, she just let them. I mean, she became a puppet from day one. You could just tell, like the move she made no sense.
Yeah, that really sucked. Let's read some of these comments.
Okay.
Let's see. Is that my Greg? It's my Greg. Hi, Boo. What does Big Crab have to say? Or what's his name? Big Cat. What's it say? Big Mad Crab. That's Greg.
Oh, hey. This is a great duo. Well, thank you.
Thanks.
Big Mad Crab.
Let's take it on the road, baby.
Jeff said he's still afraid of the HHS secretary having too much power when that office's power is constantly checked by Congress. He's afraid he'd have to be a better congressman. Good call, Jeff.
Well, I hope you guys think that we held it down. I think we fucking did. Like, I really think we held it down. I think we asked great questions and made great points. And, we tried to say and ask things that we think, our other people in our situation would want to ask if they were, if they had that opportunity. So, we're pretty proud and pleased at, the way it went on our end anyway. Ricky, do you have any last closing thoughts before we talk about the UN action?
Nope.
You're like, been there, done that.
See ya.
So, but Andy Kim's assistant literally already emailed us and asked to speak with our leadership, which, like, we are the leadership because, like, we're volunteers and, like, that's us. So I don't know if they like found out I'm playing the recording or like I don't know. Like, I don't know what they want, but we just met with them a few hours ago and they already want to talk to our leadership. So
We'll see.
stay tuned. All I know is if I get in trouble, y'all are helping my ass because I don't know any rules on this shit. But anyway, so as some of you guys know, we are doing a UN action. We've been working with human rights lawyers for over a year to compile an official complaint to take it to the Human Rights Council of the United Nations that millions of people don't have health care, or they have, people are dying, people are suffering, and we want it on record that the United States does not give a shit about us, and we are watching eugenics of the poor, and everybody says healthcare is a human right. We're taking that shit seriously and we're writing it down and we're getting it on record. So we are in that process. Ricky, do you want to say anything about it?
Yeah. We need stories. We need stories, and we need stories that really showcase gross negligence by our healthcare system. Not like, oh, I don't like my doctor's personality or this, and that. Like how not having a healthcare system has made your life miserable, essentially. Healthcare horror stories in that regard. We are collecting stories. We have dozens now, so they're coming in, but we could always use more. And we'll have someone from our team follow up with you to make sure we get everything that we need for that story, so we can add it to the complaint. And yeah, your story will be given to the United Nations. And I know everyone's like, oh, they're just, they're kind of theater, and they're kind of their own theater, the international theater, kind of like Congress is more of a national theater. But we do get the opportunity to get other countries to criticize us, and that would be really cool if some other country said something, some small country maybe that has universal health care, and that kind of criticism, that kind of embarrassment on the global scale, that would be kind of cool. So maybe,
and Biden will have to address it, dude.
Yeah,
Biden,
so it would be cool if something like that happened. So that's kind of what we're going for. Maybe maybe we can stir the pot a little bit. We don't expect the UN to say, oh, America must give people health care by this time. We don't expect that at all. However, we do know that if we can get a complaint in there, and maybe even send some stuff to other countries, we'll know what countries are going to be reading these complaints next year at some point. This year was China and Russia. Russia got kicked off. The human rights team or whatever
council,
that read complaints. China was still on there. China would have been a good one, but there will be other countries next year on there. Certainly ones that have universal health care that could criticize our system or lack of system, to be honest. So that'd be cool.
Yeah, right now we're looking at hopefully submitting February. By February, definitely is something I want to say that we've been getting a lot of our video testimonials of our system's corrupt. The Democrats don't care. Yeah, dude, we all know that. We know it. That's not usable. We need to hear your stories. We need to hear your testimonial of someone dying, of your medical debt, of medical bankruptcy. We need evidence is what it is. That's what it comes down to. We need to submit people's pain as evidence So anything political about, this representative says this and this Democrats and Republicans, doesn't matter. Can't use it. So please make it very specific to what your story, your testimonial is, because that's the only way we can use it. If you want to look into more information and FAQs, m4m4all.org. Also, this has never been done in our nation's history. This is a big fucking deal. So we hope everyone gets behind this. It's a big deal for real. I'm so honored to be, taking part in this. I think it's very exciting. And we ask that you reach out to other content creators who completely ignore us, and, ask them to cover this. It's historical and it's huge, and it's something that people should be talking about and joining. We do have great organizations who have signed on to support it, like Poor People's Campaign, and doctor organizations, things like that. So we're very fortunate in that regard, but we do need people power as well. So definitely go to our website, check that out, submit your stories, please. If you have them, send the information to submit stories to anyone you know who is going through anything like that or has in the past. So as far as shows, tomorrow night I have journalist Dan Cohen. He is a journalist who will be speaking at the Assange rally on Saturday, but he is actually finishing up a documentary on Haiti. So I'm really looking forward to speaking with him. Monday night, postmortem breakdown with Andrew. And next Wednesday, I have a gentleman coming on who is speaking of holding people accountable. It is the gentleman who just called out Jamal Bowman at a town hall and said he was funding Nazis when he was talking about the Black agenda and helping people of color. This gentleman went out and said, you know what? You're funding Nazis in Ukraine. And he just went off and, damn it, yes, more of that. And then he said, yes, I'll come on your show Wednesday, but also, and then he sends me, a link of him doing it to Kamala and a link of him doing it to other people. And I'm like, oh my God, yes. So join in tomorrow night, Monday night, Wednesday night. Oh yeah, we're bringing it. So thank you guys so much for watching. Ricky, do you have any last thoughts?
I just want to say that Robert Escobar said he's interested in the UN thing too. And I know he's got a show, so that'd be cool to talk about.
I'll be going on Robert's show Sunday.
Oh, okay. So you did say that. Okay. Cool. That's it.
So everybody tune in to Robert's shows, and you can subscribe to his YouTube as well. He has a new channel where he talks about Medicare for all. So I'll be joining him on Sunday. But thank you all so much for watching. This is so important. Please smash the like button. Please share. Please consider joining my Patreon if you can. And thank you so much. Please send us those stories. And thank you, Ricky, for being my guest.
Of course.
Have a good night, all. Much love.
Bye.